Yes, it's true. I lost $30,000, slightly over $30,000, trying to be a day trader. And this is how it happened. So when I was like 19, I started getting into the stock market, trying to make more money because I was dead broke, and started investing and saw some success, but that was only because of COVID, and made a little bit of money just picking stuff out of my butt basically. And because things were so low, I was making money because of COVID. And then I decided to get greedy and start trying to day trade, specifically day trade options, because I saw a couple videos. If you're like me, I was looking up how to make money, and I saw people day trading that probably weren't making money but were claiming that they were, and they influenced me to start day trading. So I started trading options. And if you don't know what options are, basically all it is you are trading contracts. And by contracts, let me bring you down here with me, all it means is that you're controlling 100 shares of a company. So instead of buying one individual stock, one share, you could buy a contract where you're controlling 100 shares. So if you make the right trade, and let's say you put money that this stock is going to go up, and you buy a contract, you make way more money because you're controlling 100 shares. And if you put money that it's going down and you're correct, same thing. You're controlling 100 shares. So you make almost 100x the money that you would make just from buying one share. Problem is, if you're wrong, you could lose a ton of money. And like I said, I saw a little bit of success just buying and holding stocks and then selling them for more money. I was in the military at the time, so I knew a couple people that were like getting into this options world, and just overall investing at the time was, that was 2020-ish. And that was when Roaring Kitty and Wall Street Bets and all that stuff was popping off. So investing was super popular, especially for younger Gen Z people like me that were like, I'm broke, I want some money, let me start getting into stocks. So like I said, I got greedy. I saw, I could make money just buying a couple shares, but what if I buy a couple contracts? And up until this point, I had saved a ton of money because I was 20 years old or 21 around there. And I started working when I was 16 years old. I got a job right when I turned 16 in high school, like as a sophomore, was working, saving my money. So by the time I got to the military when I was like 20, I had like $35,000, $40,000 saved up. And so I was like, all right, I got some money to play with. Let's get to it. And so I had all this money. I decided to get into options trading, and that's what I did. And actually, at first, I saw some success. I got a Tesla call, which a call is basically that you're betting that the stock is going to go up. Put is that you're betting that it's going to go down. So I bought a couple Tesla calls, put down $4 grand. I ended up making like $2 grand, I want to say within a couple of hours. And I was on cloud nine at this point. I was like, And I was on cloud nine at this point. I thought, wow, I was buying shares that whole time playing with pennies when I could have been making $1,000 days. And I got super excited, and I started telling all my friends, taking my screenshots of what I made, putting it on Instagram, and I was like, all right, I'm about to be rich. So then I started getting cocky, started making trades. This was over the span of maybe 3 months where I blew up my whole account and lost over $30,000. But for a while there, like the first month, it was kind of sideways. Like I was making money, then I would lose, then I'd make money again. And I was only actually 50-50 trader at this point because the market was so volatile at that point, because it was prime COVID. This was February-ish of 2021. So in COVID, the market was like up, down, up, down. So you didn't even need to know what you were doing really. Like if Tesla dropped one day, I knew that it would come up a day or two later. So I would buy a contract that would expire in a week or two, and I would know, okay, if Tesla drops today, it's coming back up. Whenever it comes back up, I'll sell the contract and I'll make a quick $1,000 to $3,000. And I was doing that for a while. But then as COVID went on for a bit, the market stabilized. And when the market is a little bit more stable, that's when the bad traders get washed out, because now you got to know what you're doing. You can't just buy stuff when it's coming down just because you know it's going to come back up. And when that started happening, I literally lost $30,000 within like the span of a month. I started with, I think, 35K. And like I said, 2-3 months in, it was fine. It was still about $32,000, $33,000. It would float around there. And then once the market got stable, I mean, I blew it all. There was actually one specific day where I actually lost about 5-6 grand just in one day. And when this happened, it was insane. And it was the stupidest reason. Like, I could have completely avoided this. But like I said, I was in the military. And at the time, I had just got to a new base. So I didn't have a car. I had no car. And I was waiting to get picked up to get taken to work. And so I woke up before or as the market opened, and I placed a trade for Tesla to go up. So I placed it right when the market opened, and I had like an hour or two after that until I was going to get picked up and taken to work. So what did Tesla do after I bought these calls? It ripped. It went up, and I put like $4,000 down. I was up like 200% within 2 hours, basically. So I had doubled my money. I went from $4,000 contract. It was now worth $8,000 where I could cash out. And at the same time as I'm watching this contract go up in value, the dude pulled up that was taking me to work. So he pulls up. He's like, hey, blah, 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 I'm outside. I'm on cloud nine at this point. I'm like, oh my God, I just made $4,000 right now before I even go to work. So I got super excited, right? And I did the dumbest thing ever. So at this time, there was a restriction on my account. It was called the pattern day trader because I was trading every day at this point. And because my account didn't have, I think it was like $40,000 at the time, I had a restriction put on my account. So if I placed a trade, I could only correct it once. So basically what that meant was I bought the contract, and then I could only sell it once. Like if I sell, I can't buy back in or whatever. I could only do one action for the day. And because the dude was outside waiting for me, I was in a rush and I was super happy seeing this contract go up in value. I went to sell my account, but at the top of my phone, you either go buy or sell. There's 2 buttons, right? I was so excited I wanted to sell, but by default, when you open the app, it's set on buy. So it was set on buy, and I ended up buying another $4,000 worth of a whole nother contract when I was trying to sell the contract that I had just made money on, right? So because I had that restriction on my account, I couldn't have just bought another contract and then immediately sold, like correct my mistake. My account was locked. So I bought a whole nother contract, and then the restriction said, oh, well, if you want to sell, you got to wait till next day. And there's nothing that I could do about this. And the dude's waiting for me outside. So I'm like, oh my God, I just hope that tomorrow when the market opens, I still have my money there that I made, or at least, you know, it goes down a little bit in value and I still make money or walk out breaking even, right? The stock market at this time, like I said, was crazy, especially with Tesla. The stock could be here today, tomorrow, it could be down here. And that's what happened. The next day, some news came out, whatever. Tesla's stock completely collapsed, and all the money that I would have made, I lost. Plus the 2 contracts that I had bought at this point were worth like half. So I spent $8,000. I ended up losing like 4 or 5 grand just because of that one stupid mistake of buying another contract when I was trying to sell. And then at this point, I don't even remember my account was worth. I think it was like 20K was in my account from 35,000. And within the next 4 weeks, whatever, I completely blew up the account. And I took that $20,000 all the way down to like 4K before I finally stopped. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. I never even tried to learn the game of options because I think you can make money, but you really got to know what you're doing. Like you really got to know what you're doing with options. And I obviously did not. So I eventually stopped when my account was worth like $4,000. And like I said, at one point, my account was at like $35,000. And my lesson from this is if you're going to get into this game, anything that seems too good to be true or too easy is probably BS. And that's what options trading was for me. Like there's nothing out there that you're going to make $1,000 a day without knowing what you're doing or just getting lucky. Like sports betting, something like that. Like eventually you're going to blow up your account and lose the money that you did make, if you're lucky enough to even make any money. And I only got lucky because it was COVID. And I'll put up a screen recording right here of, you could see on my phone to this day, because I could see my all-time chart for my Robinhood account and how it just went up. And then at a certain point, it just completely collapsed. I've never even recovered it. I don't mess with options since then. I invest now, but I do it in a safer way, a long-term way. I buy a lot of Bitcoin and stuff like that. Max out my Roth. But yeah, I blew up my whole account, lost over $30,000. All that money that I made in high school that I had saved up all went kaput, gone. But also another good lesson from this video is you can always bounce back, because since then I'm making good money now, pretty good net worth for my age. So like if this happens to you, someone out there that's watching, you could always come back, and you will come back as long as you learn from your mistake. And I've read some crazy headlines about guys offing themselves when they blew up their accounts and stuff like that. Like, it's never that serious. You can always come back. Did it suck? Yes, absolutely. But I mean, you live and you learn. And I'm actually glad that that happened to me, because now I'm like, well, I'll never do that again. But anyways, that's the story of how I blew up my account, lost over $30,000 day trading, specifically options. And if you're a kid out there, 18, 19, 20, 21, whatever, and you're getting into options or day trading in general, all I say is good luck. I mean, the odds of success in that field are so low because you got to be like an expert of the experts to make money in that field. And I always think it's better to have a lot of active income coming in so you can make bigger risks that won't destroy you. You don't want anything to destroy you. And I just think active income always beats investment income until a certain level, right? Until you're like a millionaire, then it's, all right, investing is important. But if you're making less than 10, 15K a month, it's not about what you can invest. It's about you need to figure out how to make more, in my opinion. So that's the success I've seen since then, following that rule set. But yeah, that's my story, you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.